It's 9 o'clock on Wednesday night, and I'm yet again trying another version of the live stream. This one I'm doing on my iPad, and you will see that it's very difficult for me to see what's going on because for some reason the iPad, your eyes aren't centered, but c'est la vie. So welcome all the live wires to Wire Lady TV every Wednesday night. I'm going to pull you up on my computer too so I can answer some questions. And Clarice is the first one on. Hey Clarice, how are you doing? Welcome. Yeah, so we're back to our regular time. And oh, so Rox is here. Oh, Rox, I don't know if you were here first because Clarice already said hello. So it's always a race to see who comes on first. So that's awesome that you guys are both here. And I think tonight's is going to be a little bit quicker than usual because I know what I'm doing. So that's a good thing. So I'm going to go right ahead and flip the screen because this iPad is super awkward and it does not, my face is not centered or anything. So let's just bring you right down onto my work area. I just have to center it properly. Okay, just make sure that, that's funny. Oh, you know why? Because okay, I tried to do this earlier, but my iPad was the other direction. So that's why this is going to be a little funkier here because it's not super balanced. So let me see if I can balance it. Oh boy, live and learn. I thought I got all the glitches out and now I'm just trying to center it so this doesn't actually fall over. So let me, if I put it more towards the back, this is going to work better. Okay, so bear with me guys. Thank you so much. And as you are looking at the screen, you'll see that I have the ones pulled up from last week. I just want to center the iPad so you can actually see everything properly and that hopefully it won't fall down. So let me center this a little bit. So you see what we did last week? We did the astrology ones, and everybody that hopped on last week, I think I was able to do their symbols. So we have Aries, and we have Cancer, we have Taurus, we have Virgo, we have Sagittarius, and Aquarius is down here. So they look cool, eh? Yeah, that was fun last week. So if you guys, anyone missed that's watching the replay here, just go check out last week's to find out how to do those. And let's get started right away and do this week's. So we will start with Gemini. So what I will do is just move these over a little bit. And maybe what I'll do is I'll just move this right over. Okay, a little bit like that. I'm going to put my tools here. See, they're centered on my, I think what you guys see, you guys are still seeing a little bit of this at the side, which is my grid for holding things in place. So unfortunately, I can't do much about that. Next week, I will flip the screen around so it's going to be centered a little bit better. But at least I think this is a little bit clearer than the doing it on the iPod, so that's a good thing. So we have Joanna hopped on. Hey Joanna, how are you? So we have 3 people on so far. So what I'm going to do is, like last week, I'm going to use the 20 gauge wire. This is artistic copper wire. And I will, maybe I'll bring these in a little bit so you can kind of see where I'm getting at here. We're going to do Gemini at the top. So we'll do Gemini. And I'll get around to do all the ones that we didn't do last week. So let's go ahead and I'm going to bring this over a little bit and I'll cut a piece of wire. And Rock says I'm a cusper, so Sagittarius and Capricorn. Okay, that's true. Sometimes you're just on the edge, right? So I don't really follow astrology that much, but I find it interesting. So we talked last week that I'm a Sagittarius, Clarice is Sagittarius, and there were a couple more Sagittariuses as well. Yeah, so Sagittarius, it looks simple. Clarice, were you able to work it out? Because I know you were working on the design. Fern says, hi, Heather, and Joanna is a Leo. Cool. So we will do Capricorn today. We're going to get them all done. So let's start with Gemini. And what I think I'll do with Gemini is I should have cut these all out so you could see them, but so it's pretty simple, but I just have to figure, I think I'm going to start with the bottom of Gemini, and what we'll do is just do that bottom line first. Okay, and what is my birthday, Rox says? And I am the 29th of November. I'm just trying to scroll up the comments a little bit. I don't want to, oh, there we go. I just don't want to miss any comments. Okay, so there we go. Yeah, I'm the 29th, and I don't really have any plans this year. Sometimes I do something special on my birthday. I'm trying to think. I don't remember what I did last year, but I remember on my 50th birthday, my friend, she owns an art gallery in the Pointe Claire village, which is sort of on the west end of Montreal, and we had a birthday party at the gallery, which was super cool. So what I'm going to do is first, going to do sort of like the bottom bit of the Gemini thing. And then what you want to do is bend one end kind of back and then bend it up a little bit. So it almost looks like the beginning of like a letter I or something. So we have that end bent up like that. And then you want the same on that side. So we're going to try to get it as equal as possible. That's always the challenge, is to get things symmetrical. And then we're going to bend that to the back. So both of those have been bent to the back. And we're going to kind of push it in a little bit. And then we're going to bend this one up a little bit. Hopefully it's equal. If not, you can always use a ruler if you need to. So what have we got here? When is your birthday, Heather? It's the 29th. Clary says, no, Heather. Oh, you didn't get a chance to, you didn't get a chance to work on it, Clarice. It's all right. You do so much that it's okay to take a break now and then. That's just fine. So yeah, birthday party at the gallery was amazing. Well, that art gallery is actually a contemporary art gallery. And so she has all kinds of really contemporary art. And the activity we did that night, we actually did a communal painting. So we all worked on one canvas, and I kept that canvas. So that's something that she does a lot. She does these communal canvases, which is really super cool. And we also did some other, I think we did some kind of other meditations and stuff too. It was really an interesting party. Yeah, so now we have to do the same like on the bottom, but on the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this wire sticking up like that. I'm going to go ahead and bend this one back, because we want to replicate that thing we had on the bottom. And then so I'm going to just go right ahead like that. Okay, so it's kind of like a mirror image of what's on the bottom. And then you want to measure it about the same kind of length. Like if you need to get a ruler, it's fine. Sometimes I just measure it on my pliers. And we're going to bend this bit to the back too. So what you have are like two kind of bars that are straight across. And then this one, what I want to do is I want it centered. So we're going to bend it up. Let's see if this is going to work. So we're going to bend it up sort of at the center. So it's behind, it's kind of hidden. And then this one, because you need to finish it off, I'm also going to bend it a little to, this will have to be bent to the left a little bit to kind of center it. So you see how this looks. This is kind of a little funky at the back, but it's okay. And then that's centered up. And then this one, you want to twist it around so it'll hold in place. So we're going to twist that end around and cut it off. And then all you need to do is like, oops, sorry, I just pushed this thing out of the way. I almost lost you guys. And then so we have that thing that almost looks like a kind of a Roman numeral 2 or something. And then we could just bend this a little to the side and make our loop like we do with the regular earrings. So this could be an earring or a pendant. Either one would be fine. There we go. Okay. Yeah, so the painting was wonderful, because it's true, I have a keepsake of that day, which is really cool. So here we go. So here's the piece that's the Gemini, all one piece of wire. It's not super centered, but that's at least the idea of how to do it, because you want 2 bars straight across. So there's Gemini. And then let's go ahead and do Capricorn. So let me bring it over just to show you what the Capricorn looks like. So here's the Capricorn. It almost looks like the capital letter N, I guess you would say. So let's do the Capricorn. I'll move that over to the side to do it, so it's not too distracting. So we'll get our, still the 20 gauge wire. There we go. We'll cut a little piece like that. I always tend to cut it a little too big, because I don't like running out of wire. Okay, so let's just pretend we're making a kind of a capital letter N. So we're going to go like this. What are you planning to do with all these? Well, these I might actually turn them into earrings. You know, I might make them into earrings. I might sell them in my Etsy shop. Sometimes I don't always sell the samples that I make, but sometimes if people want to buy them, I would put them in my Etsy shop or something. It could be a pendant or an earring. I'm making these pretty small, so if anything, they might be earrings. It might be a little small for pendants, although for a chain, it would be okay. So you see, I've done like the first little loop. Now I'm bending it to the back like that. This is how I do my letter N's. So now we want to do this part that kind of looks like an N a little bit. Okay, we're going to bring that down like that. Okay, so it actually kind of looks like an N a little bit. I think it might be a little more pointy there. So if you want to make it more pointy, you can just get your flat pliers and kind of go like that and point it down a little bit. So already it's a little more pointy. And then it seems to have like a little loop thing at the bottom. So let's just do like the little loop. And let's hope I'm not going to run out of wire, like famous last words. Oh, I cut it too long. I cut it longer than I need, but that's not always the case. So it looks like there's like a little loopy thing here at the bottom. And now, so I don't have a sharp little raw end. I'm going to bend this back like that. And then, as always, I need a loop at the top. So I'm actually going to bring it back up upon itself at the back. Bring it around like that. If we go like that, and then this part, I'll bend it up, and that would actually make the loop at the top, but it's very discreet because it's kind of bent to the back. So that's the idea, is you want to keep it as kind of discreet as possible. So now this one, we're going to bend to the back. Nina says I always make things look so easy. Well, Nina, that is 30 years of wire art experience. So we don't feel bad because I have a ton of experience, and that's why it looks easy. And sometimes for me, actually making wire is easier than drawing. So that's just sort of where I'm at with all this practice. So now we have both of these wires to the back. So now to finish it off, we have to twist one around so we can clip it off. And these ones, I'm trying to do them all in a way that we don't have any little rough ends, and also in a way that we have a nice loop at the top to hang them on. So now we're going to make the loop, and the tricky part is to get it so the loop isn't really, you know, distracting from the design. This one I cut it a little short, but let's just push that end in a little bit, and then you're just going to clip the end. And there you have, we could push it in a little bit more if we want with the pliers, like that. So there we have, and it looks pretty good, is the Capricorn. And Rock says you have such a lovely and calming, encouraging voice. That is so sweet of you. Thank you so much. And I love teaching, so I'm happy that that it comes across in the videos. So here's the Capricorn. So now what are we going to do? Let's try, the Leo looks a little easier, so let's try Leo. And I will get a little piece of wire. Hopefully this one won't take as much because it's a pretty simple design. So we'll cut a little piece, and we're just going to start by doing, we'll get a marker or something to do the top part. So we're going to just do this little loopy part at the top. So we'll just kind of turn it around like that. Okay. And it looks like one side's a little lower than the other side. So we'll just go ahead and with my round pliers, these are actually wider round pliers. So they have a nice wide loop on them. So we'll do that one side. And then this side, it almost looks like it makes a complete loop. I don't know if that's just the way it printed. I should have maybe printed up a better design, but it looks like it does like a complete loop around there. So let's just like close that loop. If it's not a complete loop, you could make it slightly different, like I have it on the other side. And then let's just push this wire up like that, okay, because we want to finish it at the back. And then this one, because the loop ends a little bit, we're just going to, let me move these out of the way so we can actually see what we're doing. So for this side, we're going to just bend it to the back rather than make a closed loop. So we'll just bend it, if you can see it, like at the side view. We just bent it to the back, and then we just push it right down, and then get our pliers again, the round pliers again, and bring it up to the top. And so now at this point, we have to do the finishing part. That looks kind of good like that, like kind of loopy. Maybe it has to be even a little lower than the other side, so we can just kind of wiggle it a bit like that. So we're gonna go like that, and then get our pencil or our pen again, just to bring it back up to the top. Okay, and then you want to imagine where the center is. So we're going to center it like that. Do you handmade gifts for your family? That's a good question. Oh, there's the Leo. Oh, thank you. Oh, wow. How did you do that? You put the little Leo emoji. That's awesome. Thanks, Rox. That's super. So it is a little bit of a loop. Thank you so much. That's perfect. So we'll just leave it then as is with the little loop on the side. But the sort of like the back of the loop is going to be kind of hidden behind this one, so it actually looks like a loop like that. And then we're going to bring this one around to the top, and we can use this around here. I'm always looking for cool emojis on the internet. I don't even know how you did that. Maybe you cut and paste that emoji. That's super cool. And then we're going to finish it like that. It's looking good. And then we're going to clip that end. I'm going to have to check my floor after. I'm going to have lots of little bits of wire all over the floor. And I'm in the basement, so we have carpet, which is not the best thing for little bits of wire, but I'll have to get the vacuum. When we bought this house, it had central vac, which I never thought in my life that I would get a house with central vac, but it's actually really useful. So there we go. There is the Capricorn, which actually looks super cool. And thanks to Rox, we have the actual design. So Rox said, "You're welcome. I use the emoji keyboard on my phone." Oh, that's smart. Of course, yeah, because I'm looking at it on my laptop, so I didn't even think about that. That's true, eh? So look, guys, we have. Oh no, that wasn't Capricorn. Which one? This was Leo. Sorry, my bad. So there, that's Leo. So what are we missing now? We are missing Scorpio. So let's do Scorpio. Scorpio's a lot like Virgo. It looks a little bit like the letter M. What is central vac? So central vac is basically a vacuum cleaner that sucks all your dust into the walls of your house. But I mean, not literally into the walls. It goes into a tube in the wall that goes down to a little canister in the basement. And so, but the advantage is you don't have to lug around a vacuum cleaner. It's just a big, long, snake-like thing that it's long, and you can plug it into different parts of your house. So actually, all parts of the house are accessible to the central vac, so you can just vacuum up. And yeah, that's cool. Have you never heard of central vac? That's so interesting. I bet it's a 70s thing. I don't think people do it anymore. In fact, I remember when I used to go to playgroup with my daughter that a lot of people were saying, oh, you know, we don't like central vac because it scratches the baseboards of our house. Excuse me while I get a longer piece of wire. I realize for Scorpio it has to be a longer piece of wire. So yeah, so and like I said, I would have never ever dreamed of getting central vac because we were always sort of starving artists, but it's quite practical now that we have it. So let's go ahead and do Scorpio. So Scorpio is like a kind of a letter M with a little arrow on it. So we'll go ahead and do like we started the Capricorn. So we're going to bend that down, and then we're going to bend this to the back. Okay. And then start forming what looks a bit like an M. So we could just actually bring it up. Last time I had to kind of make it more a sharp turn. So what I'll do with this one is just use my smaller flat pliers and actually just go ahead and bend it down on a bit of a more sharper turn. And then we have to go to the bottom here and then back, like fold it to the back again. Okay, so we have that one folded to the back. And then this one, we want to form the other one. So we're going to go up like that. What do your partner family do? All artists? Yes. Well, my husband and I are both self-employed artists. We run an Etsy shop selling wedding cake toppers. And it was actually a niche that kind of found us because originally my husband makes little wire bicycles. And he still sells them on the street, but I actually met him selling jewelry on the streets in Montreal. And so he was selling little bikes and I was selling other kinds of jewelry, and we got together and then we started selling them at craft shows and traveling around selling wholesale and stuff. And then when the internet came around, we started selling on Etsy. And one day, a client contacted us after she'd bought one of our little tandem bikes, and she told us that she'd put it on her wedding cake. So that was how we found out the idea to make wedding cake toppers. We would have never actually thought about it. And since that, we've kind of specialized in wedding cake toppers, which is really, really great to have a niche. So here's so far the Scorpio. So now all we have to do is the little arrow at the bottom of the Scorpio. And after all, I cut the wire a little too long, but that's light. Okay. So Roy says, makes me think of this central vac act that my neighbor has. Oh, your neighbor has central vac? Yeah, it's fun. Yeah. Not that I clean the house that much. I must admit my husband does most of the cleaning, which I'm very, very lucky for. So now let's form the arrow. So the arrow is the same type of arrow that was on the Sagittarius, except it's really teeny tiny. So we're going to bend that back like that. And then we want to bend the wire to the front. Probably this arrow will be a little bigger than it's supposed to be proportionally, because in the picture it's pretty tiny, but that's okay. And then we're going to bend this to the back. I have another video where I do kind of like a male symbol with an arrow, which might give you a better idea of how to do it. So there you can see the arrow coming along, and then now this one, to finish it off, we're just going to bend it to the back like that. And then like in the other designs, we want to bring it around to the top. So are my daughters also artists? I think you mentioned. Yes, I have one daughter, and she's very artistic, but she's into photography. And actually she specializes in something that is called doll photography. And it's kind of a subculture of people that take photographs of American Girl dolls. I don't know if you've ever heard of that kind of doll, but it's like an 18-inch doll, and it's a well-known brand in the States. And so there's a whole subculture of people on Instagram that take photos of these dolls. And you can actually find her on her Instagram is Mimi B Dolls, and she also teaches people how to use social media and things like that. So she's actually working on a talk right now. She's giving a talk next week at her photography club to teach some of the older people how to use social media. So that's really cool. So I haven't been talking you guys through this one, but you see, as in the other designs, I back the wires to the back there, so they're a little bit discreet because I have the design. This one too, I'm going to bend it to the back like that, and then just basically you want to follow behind the shape, so it's really discreet, so you don't really see it. It's just kind of hidden there. But the idea is you do need to double back so you have a place to finish the wire. That's the thing. So very interesting. Does she have a page? She used to have YouTube, but now she has Instagram. So it's Mimi B Dolls on Instagram, and also she has Mimi B Photography and a Facebook page. Actually, she has, I think it's Mimi B Dolls, her Facebook page as well. So yeah, she actually inspires me a lot with social media. So I just twisted that end around here, and then we're going to twist that, click that off. And then all we have to do now is make our loop at the top, because you always need somewhere to hang it. And the idea is just to put a loop anywhere that you can see that it could be centered well, because it's nice if it kind of hangs and not too much like lopsided to one side. So there we go. We're going to click that. So there we have our Scorpio, which is kind of cool. Let me hold it by the end so you guys can see it. And then we'll bring that one back over here, and we'll just see what's missing. So we're missing now Libra and Pisces. So let's go ahead and do Libra. I'll get some wire. She's an only child. Yep, she's the only one that we have. And my husband actually has a daughter from a previous marriage, but she's a little bit older, and she works in the hotel industry. So she's very artistic, but she's not really doing artistic, like sort of an art career right now. But whenever we get together, she always is good at doing arts and crafts and stuff. So here we're going to do Libra. So the thing with the Libra, it's going to be a little bit similar to Aquarius in a way, is that there's two little open edges there, and Aquarius too, but what I had to do with Aquarius is actually connect the wires on either side so it would actually hold together. Otherwise it wouldn't. And Taurus, did we do Taurus? Yeah, Taurus is here. This is the Taurus one from last week. Yeah, so there's Taurus, like the little bull. Yeah, that's it. That was last week. So let's do Libra, and then we'll do Pisces, and that'll be all of them. So it worked out well that we did 6 each week. So for Libra, let's just start. Imagine that there's the straight line along the bottom like that. And we're just going to move that one. Hopefully this is the best way to do it. So we're going to go like that. And then the idea is we want to go ahead and bend this one in a little bit. It's going to look a little, maybe a little bit strange because I have to have that little line at the edge there. Otherwise, I'm not sure if there's another way that I could do that. I'll have to see. The other option I talked about last week was like making a little frame and putting these within a frame, like having like sort of a rectangle frame or a square frame, and then doing these shapes within the frame. So I'm not sure if that would work better or not, but let's just try it like this to see how it goes. So I'm kind of started with just a straight line there, and then this one comes back, and then we're going to have to loop it inwards. We want to make sort of a little half circle, I guess you would call it. It almost looks like a little bit like a horseshoe or something. That's what it reminds me of. It's like a little horseshoe. So we'll see. And if you guys have any... Oh, Nina missed the Taurus. So yeah, definitely you could watch the replay. And what I should actually do is maybe in the description of the replay is put a like a little list of what time each one was done at. That would be a good thing to do. So maybe I'll rewatch that one and but you can always zip through the live stream. You can always do that just to get to the one that you want to do. Okay, so we're gonna go like that. That's gonna be like a little, I think there's a better way to do this, but for now, let's just do it this way and maybe I'll get back to it. And then we want to push that up, straight up. It's going to be centered. And then this one, we're just going to, kind of looks like a hat. I think this one needs work, but let's just go ahead and finish it for now. And then if you guys have any other ideas, I'm totally open to redoing this one if you have other ideas for how I can make it look more accurate. So let's just finish the loop like that, and then I'll show you the picture and show you this, and we'll see if there's something else we can do to fix it. So this, let me bring this over. So the Libra, yeah, there's definitely something not perfect about this one. And so there's the straight line, and then there's this, and then with this little loop like that. So that's it for now for that one, but I'm pretty sure there's a way to redo that one. So I'm going to leave it for now and do the Pisces, and then maybe I'll try the Libra one again. So let's do Pisces, which almost looks like the letter H, which is kind of cool. So let's do Pisces. I'll bring it over to the side so it won't distract us, and we'll get our wire. I should know how to do a letter H after all. Let's see how we do. Oh, YouTube. Oh, is that the link to the video? Oh, that's cool. Thank you. That's awesome. It says, hi, I'm Helen. I just had a birthday Monday. Cool, Libra. I happened to be cruising the net and found you. That's awesome. That's so cool. So Helen, yeah, this is Libra for now, but maybe I'll find a better way to make it because it doesn't quite look like that, but I'm definitely gonna go back to it and see what else I could do. But that's a good starting point. Yeah, so there we go. So Clarice says, I'm understanding a little now. And she put the Sagittarius one. Awesome. That's cool. Oh no, that's a link to my daughter. Okay, cool. That's awesome. Thank you. So let's do Pisces. So for the Pisces, we'll just start by here. Hopefully you guys can see it there. So we're going to start by doing like one side like that. So let's just bend it back behind itself. And it looks like there's like a little bit of a curve. So let's to make that curve, we're just going to hold this and then bend it a bit with our thumb. That's the best way to do a curve. You hold it with the pliers and kind of rub it with your thumb. And then, do you see how this line goes over a little bit? So we're going to have to kind of back up that line a little bit. So what I'm going to do is where the middle is, I'm going to hold my pliers there and then bend this wire back. Okay, so this is the right direction. And now this, we want it to go back a little bit. So then we're going to bend it back upon itself. So hold your pliers here and go over. So you see already we have like that little edge like that, like the little pointy bit. So now we have to bend it at the other end of that center line. So imagine where it is. This is the hard part, guys, is getting the proportions. So this part is definitely tricky, and it's good to work with inexpensive wire first to really get the hang of it. And the copper wire really isn't very expensive. Actually, this wire, it's not even artistic copper wire. This one I bought at Michael's, and they sell like sets of wires that aren't expensive. And at Michael's, you can always get 40 or 50% coupons online to use in the store. So Fern says, happy birthday, Helen. And Helen says, you make this look so easy. That's awesome. Yeah, 30 years of experience, Helen. And Laura says, not sure why I get here so late, but I always replay. Oh, that's awesome, Laura. Well, thanks for coming, even if you're late. It's all good. So let's bend this one back now. So now we're bending it down, this wire, and we want to do this, like, we want it to look like this is the other side of the Pisces here. So we're going to bend it down. Just hold this and bend it down. And then, as always, the tricky part is to get it the same size. I mean, you could get finicky and get like a little millimeter ruler or something, but it's not too bad. We're going to get it more or less the same size. So we're going to bend that back, because here's the side view, so you could see me bending it back. We're going to bring it up like that. And then you want it to curve the other way. So I just hold it with the pliers and curve it out with my finger like that. So we have what looks a little bit like the Pisces, even though it's not like super proportioned, but it gives you like a little idea. So that's it so far. And then now we've got to bend back those ends. Now the tricky part for the Pisces really, guys, is going to be where to put, because I could put a loop there, but the trouble is it's going to look a little bit funny. So I think I'm going to make an exception in this case, and rather than have it centered, it will sit a little bit on an angle, because otherwise it's going to be really tricky to get an earring hook like down in that intersection there. So let's go ahead and just bend this wire back. Okay, so we'll bend it back at the length we want and just bend it down. And then we're going to trace over our steps as we did in the other one, just kind of curve it down and bend it across. So we're just tracing behind what we've already done, and now bend it up. And then what I'm going to do for this, just to keep it simple, is I'm going to make the loop on the left side. Even if it hangs a little bit crooked, at least the design will be a little bit cleaner than it would be if I tried to center that loop. So now hold the pliers more or less at the same level as what you would have had on the other side there. Twist, like hold it nice and solid without damaging the wire, and just give that a nice solid twist around, and then clip the end. And then all you have to do is just bend, well, you might have to pinch if your pliers, if your cutters don't bend, cut it too close enough, just pinch it in a little bit. And then we're going to bend that back, and as always, make the loop. I like to use my bigger round pliers to make the loop. So around like that, and then it kind of looks like this end is maybe a little wider, so I'm actually going to do a little cheat and just loop around and then loop below there, and it gives the illusion that that's the same length as the other one. Clip the end and go like that, and there we have, oops, I just jiggled you guys again, sorry about that. And then you can do your little finishing touches. If you have to like curve these a little bit more, you can. And then you have your Pisces that looks a little bit like an H. So let's put these these all centered? I think we could see them. Yep. So there's Pisces, and there's Aquarius, Capricorn, Sagittarius, Scorpio, Libra, Virgo, Leo, Cancer, Aries, Taurus, and Gemini. So that's pretty good. Now the only one that I really want to improve is this Libra. So do you guys have some ideas of how I can do that? I'm just going to go through the comments while you guys get those wheels turning. Not sure why I got here so late. We read that. Is there some way to change the color so you can't see the lines connecting? That's a smart idea. So two options, I guess, for that. One is sometimes I use plastic tubing, which would totally change, you know, how this looks. But I could, in theory, put like a colored tube for this part and then leave that little edge free. I guess you could, if you wanted, paint it black. That might be an idea so it doesn't show so much. And let's see what else. Which wire and tools do you need? So I'm not in the States. So I use the artistic copper wire. I'm not sure where you are and what you have access to, but there's certainly, I'll buy my supplies on Etsy. Wires, beads, all kinds of stuff. So you can buy them online. I like Etsy because I just like the platform. And often you can find really interesting things that you need. Okay, technology, so we can see what you can do live. Yeah, this is fun. I love doing live. So there we go. So yeah, what diameter do you need for the wire? So I use 20 gauge wire, which translates into about a 0.9 millimeter wire. And that's it. So you know what? I'm going to just quickly try the Libra again. I'm just trying to think of the best way, because I like the idea that this would just be a loop. So let's try it one more time. I'm going to get another piece of wire. And I think what I'm going to do is actually start with that loop, because I love that nice loopy loop right there. Let's see what we could do for that. So if I take my pliers, my wire, I'm going to move this over so you can see it. And then I'm going to start with that loop this time. Let's see if that makes a difference. So we're going to start with the loop. We'll just wind it around the marker. So it's like a nice clean little loop like that. So let's do that. And even if we have to backtrack our way to the top again. So let's start with that. And then we're going to bend this end out. And this is like a really sharp bend in here. So let's just give it a nice sharp bend like that. And let's see if this is going to work on this side. I have to think ahead a little bit. Let's just go for it. I might scrap it and start another one, but sometimes if you overthink it, it doesn't work. So sometimes you just have to do it. And then if it doesn't work, you just start over again. I have so many pieces that I've started and they don't work. So which type of pliers? I don't know the brand of the pliers, but I definitely have like a flat nose plier. It's kind of like a needle nose pliers. There's no teeth on it though. You don't want teeth on it. And then I have smaller round pliers, round nose pliers, and larger round nose pliers, and then the cutters. So those are sort of your basic pliers that you would need. Okay, so let's try this, and then let me just think for a sec. I don't know if that would work any better if I did it. I'm just going to continue this way for now, because I was thinking I could backtrack and then put this wire down and then across again, but it's good. Then in that case, you'll have little vertical lines in the middle of the design, which isn't any better. So let's just go with what I'm doing here, and we'll see what happens. And this might not have been wide enough. Maybe if I make this a little less long, we'll just try. We'll go across there. Leave that one there for now. And then we're going to go here. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking a little bit out loud here. We're going to pull this one back. But I like the idea of maybe painting it a little bit so you can't see the lines so much. Kind of, and maybe I should actually Google online if anybody else has made these out of wire. That's something I didn't check because I could have checked to see if anybody else did these designs in wire. Did we do Libra? We did Libra. No, we're doing Libra. Sorry. This is the one we're working on that I'm having trouble with. My son just bought a house and has central vac and he loves it. Yeah, it's oddly addicting, central vac. It's very funny. I would have never thought that I would like it, but I do. So, okay, so this is looking moderately better with the loop that goes right around, but I'm just trying to think of how we could do it in a way that it's actually going to look good. And because you don't want to do a circle either, because that wouldn't look too good either. So what if we just trace this design, but then it's going to be like a double design. You guys have to help me out here. Yeah, so we're doing the Libra now. We're struggling. I am struggling with the Libra because it seems to be the trickiest design so far. So I'm going to have to maybe try this one a few times to see how it goes. Now my wire's almost like too short now. But what I was thinking is maybe I could do a double Libra just so we have the loop there. But even that is not super working either. So this way isn't that much better than the other one. But let's just maybe try to finish it just to see how it goes. And what if we put that behind there? No. See, I am definitely struggling with this one, guys. Let's try one more time. I'm going to, I had a different idea to do something else, so I don't know if it's going to work or not, but we can try it. Yeah, it's very tricky with these little edges there that you don't want to be showing. Okay, so let's try this again. What I'm going to do is start with the loop again. Let's see. Around like that. And see, let me bring the Libra over again. So see how tricky it is because we've got this bit and then the little line underneath. So you know what I could do to show you guys? How about I show you the idea of putting it in a frame? Let's do that. Okay, let's just change directions here. So if we do like one side, we'll do the top one, and on the other side we'll do the bottom line. Let's see how that works, just to give you guys another option, because this is a really tricky idea. So let's just go ahead and do our loop, and then take these wires, push them back like we did in the previous one. So let's get it to look like the first one. So we have like a little, this looks almost exactly like that. It's a little, got a little distorted a little bit. Okay, so let's do it this way. So here's the top of the Libra one, and then for the bottom, I'll just cut a piece. And you could actually do the frame in a different color. I didn't bring another color wire here, so we'll just try it like this. So you want a nice straight edge. So here's the idea. Look, I'm just tracing the shape like that. We've got that and that. So imagine you had a different color wire frame. That could work. Helen says 59 years. Oh, that's so cool. Awesome. 59. I'm going to be 53 this year. I cannot believe it. It's kind of crazy. Okay, so now let's do a like a kind of a rectangle shape. Hopefully I have enough wire in this piece to do it. I could have got a different color, but I think I'll just stick with this. So now imagine how big you want your frame, because you want it them to be in there. You want there to be enough on either side for it to be like nicely centered. Okay, so let's just go ahead and do a frame, and you can actually do this with almost any of the designs, is to make a frame first, and you want to have it like tall enough. Okay, so we're going to just go like that. Okay, and then let's just do this one across. Here, to do the frame, sometimes I actually make a template on a block of wood and I put 4 nails in it to trace the shape of a frame if I always want the frames to be the same size. But because I'm just working with this for now, we're just going to go ahead and do this. So to make a frame to put anything in, you could put any kind of shapes in here. So this is how our frame looks. And I've done other designs where I've made like a little frame and then just put beads, or say I have like animal beads or other flower beads or something. I can make a frame and put them inside the frame, which is really cool. So see, it's just a nice plain frame like that. And we're just going to clip the end like that. And then we're going to pinch it in a little bit. And then now, as always, we need a loop at the top. Okay. And we're going to, I'm glad you guys are chatting in the chat box, because I'm a little bit focused on this design right now, and I'm determined to get it to look somewhat accurate. Okay, so now we have our frame. And let me move these ones out of the way so you can see it. So here's the frame. And the idea to do the Libra is we're going to stick that there and this underneath. So how's that for a solution? I think that'll work. So we want to center this, and the idea is when you center it, you have to be careful that it doesn't kind of slide out of the way. So you want to hold it, but keep it centered at the same time. Okay, so we're going to just hold it around like that. And I think what I'm going to do is, because sometimes when you do these designs, just they come apart a little bit. But if we do this, if we just kind of bend it in a little bit, like 3 times, say like that, and then on this side. Okay, I hope you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm kind of holding it in shape in place, and then I'm going to bend this around 3 times like this. And then a whole other option for these designs would be to somehow add a bead to some of these designs, and that would be a whole other project for another time. But for today, we'll just see if we can get all of these done. So here's the top of the Libra, and like I said, you could use a different color wire for the frame. So that looks pretty good. That's the top of the Libra. And then we want to put this one in the bottom. So let's put that one in the bottom. And we're going to just bend it around a couple of times. And sometimes it's good to actually loop it around itself too, so it actually like doesn't come apart like this. For this one, I'm going to try to do it in a way that I just pinch the wire. But sometimes I actually like catch the wire on top with the bottom wire, so it will actually like really stay in place. But hopefully we'll be able to pinch it in place, because the thing is, you don't want it to slide. That's the problem, is to keep it in place without it sliding all over the place. So we're just going to go around to the back like that, give it a little clip. I think this would look really cool with 2 colors, like a different color for the frame. But for today, we'll just do it like this. Okay, so we've got that one. And then on this side, we want to make sure it's nice and straight across. And then we're going to bend this one through like that. Okay, so we're going to bend this around. And we're going to bend this one around like that. And then we're almost done, guys. And you guys can let me know what you think of this Libra, because I think it was a good alternative to the other, to trying to do it the other ways, because it wasn't really working too well. But the only thing now that you have to do, because you see it kind of moves around a little bit. So now what we want to do is actually bend it, like squeeze it in a way that it kind of squeezes onto the frame wire without breaking it. Because if you squeeze it too hard, it's gonna snap. So let's just try to do it in a way we give it a bend. Yeah, that's holding in place. So we want to give it a little pinch so it'll hold in place but not break the other wire. And then we're going to do this side. We want to make sure it's centered, and we're just going to pinch that in place like that. And then I'm going to hop on and see what you guys are up to. Pinch it in place. And if it's not quite centered, you can push it down a little bit and pinch it. And then this one too, you could just pinch it in place. And just imagine how it would look with a different color wire. I think for now it's not too bad. I want to push these together a little bit. But it gives you a little bit of the illusion of a Pisces. Not Pisces, Libra. Sorry, guys. So there we go. So 2 colors would work well on the frame. That's what I thought. If we had 2 different colors, because look at like this one compared to this one. Like this one, the trouble with this one is you don't have a nice clean loop on the top. But this one, I think if it was in a frame with a different color, it would look really cool. So there we go, guys. We have all of our astrology signs. I'm going to match them up here. I'll put this one here too anyways, even though it's not exactly perfect. And I will definitely take pictures and put them in the Facebook group. So if you're not already a member of the Wire Art and Jewelry group on Facebook, be sure to do that. And I am going to flip my screen around. Oh, Rox said maybe you could wrap some silver or white wire around where you want it to be invisible. That's a good idea too. Yeah, no, that's a great idea. So let me just flip the camera. Okay, flip. Oh, hopefully it's going to flip. There we go. Sorry, guys. Yeah, so, oh, let me bring this up like this. So you have a weird, like, iPad view of me because I'm kind of looking at the iPad, but my eyes look like they're kind of going over to the side. But I just wanted to say goodbye and thank you guys. And I'll be sure to check out the comments that I missed and watch the replay. And I'll try to also mark on the other video where at what moment you can find each of the astrology signs. So last week we did the first 6, and this week we have these ones. And if you guys make any of these, please share them in the Facebook group, the Wire Art and Jewelry Makers Club. And if you don't have Facebook, you can email me pictures to info@heatherboydwire.com. And we will definitely see you next week. And have a great week. And thank you guys so much for watching. So we'll talk to you soon.